The hip abduction walk is an exercise you can do with resistance tubing to work the hip muscles. The hip abduction walk targets the hip abductor muscles located here on the outside of the hips. This exercise trains the hip abductors to work as stabilizers, which is how they're used in daily life. The hip abduction walk is especially good for walkers and runners.
When you're doing the hip abduction walk with resistance tubing, stability is very important. It might be easiest to use a resistance tube that has cuffs for the ankles. But you can also use a regular resistance tube if you tie a tight loop for where your ankles are going to be. To start the exercise, take a series of steps to each side with the resistance tubing wrapped around your ankles. As you take each step, you're working the muscles on the outside of your hip.
Keep your knees slightly bent during the exercise and keep your steps smooth and controlled.
You'll feel tension along the outside of your leg and hip. When you're doing the exercise, be careful not to lock your knees
and keep your movements smooth and controlled.
Also remember to keep your abdominal muscles nice and tight. As another option, take forward strides and then backward strides. Do as many repetitions as you can and stop when you're fatigued or your form begins to suffer. Remember, for best results, don't lock your knees and keep your movements
smooth
and controlled.